Hello friends, in this video we'll be discussing about the new electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement which has been introduced by the GST portal by means of an advisory. Interestingly, this statement has not been provided under the GST law per se, unlike the electronic liability credit and cash ledger statement, but this is something which is a functionality for the purpose of GSTN itself. But this is something which is going to impact our scrutiny in the future if we are not careful enough with regard to following this statement regularly. So we need to understand what is this statement all about and how does the context of it fit under the current GST scheme. Before we understand this statement, we need to understand the new GSTR 3B mechanism which had been introduced in 2022, wherein it was mentioned that in 4A5 all other ITC, we are now required to mention the value as per GSTR 2B, and we need to reduce the value in 4B2 for those invoices which are appearing in 2B but for which the ITC is not being taken currently. So that ITC that we are reversing on the current date. So any invoice which is appearing in 2B but we are reversing that invoice because we are not taking the ITC of that invoice in the current month, but we'll be maybe taking it in the future months, we need to reverse it in this red marked 4B2 ITC reversals. And once this invoice appears in my GST returns, that means I know that this invoice is now appearing in my books of accounts. I can now take the ITC of it. I need to report it under 4D1 ITC reclaimed, which was reversed in 4B2 in earlier period, as well as in 4A5 all other ITC. This is something which we all know. So the important thing that we need to remember is whatever reclamation is happening, that should ideally be happening from the reversals which had been made earlier. So ITC reclaimed is in 4D1 and ITC reversals was in 4B2. So let us look at how this statement is going to look like. Ideally, there would be an opening balance of the electronic credit ledger, electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement, which would show the amount of ITC reversals which have already been made but is pending to be reclaimed. Thereafter, we would be adding the ITC reversals in the current period. So whatever ITC reversals that we have made in this current period, that we need to add, right? Less ITC which has been reclaimed. So any ITC which has already been reclaimed from the opening balance, that would be reduced. Thereafter, we come to the closing balance of electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement, which would eventually be the amount of ITC reversed but yet to be reclaimed. So this would be the closing balance. So this is how this ledger would be ideally looking like. And since there is no opening balance in the electronic credit reversal statement at the moment, we are required to provide this balance to the government. ITC reversal would be coming in directly from my GST returns, reclaimed would be coming in directly from my GST returns, and closing balance would be simply calculated based on opening plus reversals minus reclaimed. So opening balance has to be declared by us. What is the time period in which it has to be declared? All of that we are going to discuss in this video. So we need to commence our monthly returns. This particular statement would be commencing from the monthly return of August 23, and in case of quarterly return it would be commencing from July to September 2023. So in the first period's return, which would be filed August 2023, this amount would be appearing under both ITC reversals as well as ITC reclaim, depending on the 4B2 would be added, which is ITC reversals, less would be ITC reclaim 4D1. So all we need to do is report the opening balance. So opening balance which is up to July 2023 return in case of monthly taxpayers. In case of quarterly, it would be April to June, because for quarterly taxpayers, the posting in this statement would start automatically from July to September. So the opening balance for monthly returns would be from July 23, and April to June 2023 would be the period in which we need to report the quarterly, whatever is the closing balance that would be reported in my opening balance for quarterly taxpayers. We need to remember that amendments and reporting would be allowed till 30th November 23. So whatever amendments and reporting that we need to make for opening balance, that we can only do up to 30th November 23. After 30th November 23, we cannot make any new reportings. We can only make amendments if we have made any mistake, but up to 31st December 23. After 31st December, we would not be able to make any amendments. So we can only make amendments in aggregate for 3 times. So it would be 1 time we can report, and 3 times we can amend. Beyond this, there would not be any amendment allowed after 31st of December. We need to remember here that whatever reclamation is being made, that should not be more than the ITC reversal opening balance plus the ITC reversal being made currently. If the reclamation part is more than the reversal, that means I am claiming ITC more than what I have reversed in my temporary reversals. There might be a warning message which would come in, though they would allow us to file the return, but this warning message might come in. So we need to be careful that we should not be reclaiming ITC more than the reversals. So this warning message would start coming in from August itself. If we have this data ready, we should make this declaration before the August returns itself, so this warning message does not come in, to avoid any scrutiny in the future periods. But in any case, we need to do it within 30th of November and amend it within 31st of December maximum. So all we need to remember is this closing balance should not become negative. Opening balance plus reversals minus reclaim should not be negative. If this is negative, we can expect this to be forming part of scrutiny notices in the future, and we might expect demand to come in because of this. Also, whatever is the amount, we need to remember opening balance would only be that amount which has been reversed. ITC is reversed, but it is pending to be reclaimed, right? So this is what is going to be reported in this particular place. With this, we hope that you have liked this video. Thank you for giving me a very patient hearing.